Everybody, you're listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour on KKID 92.9, where we are talking about weed. We talk about it, we be about it. And I got some superstars on the phone who are also about it. So we got Ray from Weed, Weather, and Whatever. Ray, I got you on the line?
Yes, what's up, guys?
Very good, and I believe you're sharing a space right now with Canna Convict Project.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Chris, what's up, buddy? So before we get into what Ray's going to talk about, because she's got an interesting subject she wants to talk about today, I want to talk about a very important subject.
But they both really kind of come together.
Oh, yeah. It's about being a good human being. Yeah.
Amen.
So let's talk about what happened with, I know Canna Convict was at, I'm going to call it an event, but it was a celebration. It was, tell us what happened this week in the cannabis world.
Well, yesterday morning at 9:30 a.m., Zachary Nutt was released from the Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary after serving nearly 5 years for nonviolent cannabis offense. And so the community came together like they always do, and we all came out there. There was a number of supporters out there to support him, and we were there for his release. And it was an extremely exciting moment, and lots of tears and lots of joy. But it was an amazing moment.
Yeah, at first, when it first flashed on my feed, I thought for a second I was seeing some kind of protest that I wasn't invited to, so I was really mad because I saw signs and stuff, but then I realized what I was looking at was a celebration that I also should have been at, but I was there on that live watching you guys, and it was just absolutely beautiful. I saw our friends from the show, Big V, and those guys from Top Shelf were there, as well as a lot of other folks.
Yeah, Wolfie was down there.
Yeah, Wolfie was down there, yeah. So from the bottom of our hearts, Chris, thank you so much for the work that you guys are doing, because I saw a celebration there, but I also felt a deep sense of pride in knowing you and Christina and the work you've done. What kind of work does it take out there to make these kind of things happen?
You just got to stick with it through the thick and the thin, and there's lots of hard times and lots of different things, but we got to focus on the main goal, and our main goal is getting all of our nonviolent cannabis offenders released from incarceration. We want to get them off probation. We want to get them back to their lives so they can just live like any normal human being. And so, that's what drives us. Is we know that there's a lot of work, and sometimes it's unbearable to have to deal with, but somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to be a voice for the voiceless. And while they sit rotting behind bars and their families sit there without their fathers and without their mothers, we just understand how important it is to continue this work. And we couldn't do it without the community supporting us so much.
So I had Brennan England from Minorities for Medical Marijuana on earlier, and we had a discussion about expungement and how that word sometimes doesn't hold the weight that lawmakers seem to want. It seems like they feed us that one sometimes, us advocates and activists out there. And truth is, we see right through that, and that really any pathway to jail, even though I know that we're not going to get everything that we want all the time, any pathway to jail for cannabis is a bad pathway that needs to be righted. I want to ask you the same question that I asked Brennan earlier, because I believe in you guys as activists. I'm going to ask you this question. Legal Missouri, let's say it passes, okay? We get the expungement that's on language with them. What's your next fight, Chris?
Well, if Legal Missouri passes, there's going to be still a big fight for a lot of the guys. Most of the guys that we're advocating for, Legal Missouri doesn't do really anything for them until their sentence is 100% completed. And so, we're going to have to get to work on finding out who all is incarcerated, first of all, for cannabis, because there's no list out there that tells you. A lot of it just says they're incarcerated for a controlled substance. So basically, we're going to have to spend $600 per prisoner to find out exactly what their records are, to see, what we need to do to see who all qualifies under the Legal Missouri, because Legal Missouri qualifies people for expungement with 3 pounds or less, or previous offenders that serve out the entirety of their sentence. A lot of these guys still have, 10 years on parole when they get out. They served, 10 or 15 years in prison for these offenses, and then they still have to finish out their 10 years of parole before we can even, apply for their expungement. And so
it's almost
we've got a lot of work to do.
It is worse. And here's the other thing. Those people that are behind bars, a lot of them have no idea what this conversation is about. I know when I was arrested in 2011, I was arrested with a little over 2 pounds of cannabis. If they'd have caught me the day before, I'd probably still be in jail. I don't think you know what I mean? Or if I had been in a different situation. So I agree with you, Chris, that those numbers aren't they just subjective?
They are. I really think they put those numbers there to kind of appease people that don't really know what's going on. But as some of us people that are behind the scenes, we realize that, it sounds good and it looks good on paper and it sounds good to people that don't know what's going on. But in reality, there is still a ton of work to do, and there's still thousands of people sitting behind bars for these nonviolent offenses. And just because they have a little bit more than 3 pounds doesn't mean that they should have to finish out their sentences. They should be able to qualify for that expungement as well, as long as it was a nonviolent cannabis offense.
Do you think that that's part of the reason that the government's scared of automatic expungements, because they truly lost our POWs in their system, and for them to have to go find them would be a ridiculous amount of money for them?
Absolutely. It's going to cost them tons of money to expunge these records. And it's also just their cash crop. I mean, these private prison industries, they thrive off of locking up nonviolent cannabis offenders, and that's what they've been doing for decades. And so to give up their cash crop so easy, that pisses them off in the first place. But then they have to spend money on top of that to expunge these records. It's definitely not something they're going to be happy about, and they're going to fight tooth and nail to prevent it from happening.
Well, okay, so let's say I own a dispensary or a cultivation, and I'm making a lot of bread off of this plant. Where can I go and give a little bit back? Because I feel like you're taking us to church. I want to tithe, man. I want to be able to give back. Where am I giving back to?
Yeah, we can use all the financial support we can get, especially when these expungement things start coming out. We're going to need to help out all these people. So you can check us out at CannaConvictProject.com. You can check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Canna Convict Project. We've got donation links on our page. You can check it out. We're trying to set up as much funding as we possibly can, because we don't even know. We don't have a solid number of how many people are going to need our help, but we know that we need to raise enough money to help as many people as we possibly can.
Hey, man, we got to get access to those people.
Yeah, there's no data. There's just no way to find them except through anecdotal, and that's not fair. That they made us illegal and then they lost us. Like, get out of here, man! We're not a set of car keys. You can't just put us down, forget where you went, and then hit a button and go beep beep. You find us again. It just doesn't work like that. So
how about the
cash? It's
cash?
going to be so expensive. Like I said earlier, it's going to be $600 per individual to find out their records, to make sure that they're sitting behind there for a nonviolent cannabis offense. And we don't know how many of those $600 are going to be wasted because somebody was charged with a violent offense or a gun possession or some other crime. And so we've got a lot of work to do. We need a lot of volunteers, any sort of attorneys or people that are needing credit hours in college. We've got a lot of work to do. It's not just work, but it's financial burden as well.
That's right, guys. I know I ask a lot every week, and I'm going to continue to do that until the day this show goes off the air. And I hope that it never does, because I think it's important to give Canna Convict Project all the voices that they can have. If you're an industry entity out there, throw an event for them. Task your event planner. Say, hey, we need to do a little something for these guys. Let's throw an event for them. Let's do things like that. Let's start to help a lot more, I think.
Right, and if everybody wants to help out instantly right now, like I was saying, Zach Nutt was released from the federal penitentiary yesterday. We've got a GoFundMe up right now on our pages, and we've just kind of been sharing it around. We're trying to get some reintegration funds for him so he can get back on his feet. We've raised a little bit of money, not as much money as we'd like to, so if you want to help out right now, you can help out Zachary Nutt with his reintegration fund, and you can check that out on any of our social medias.
Awesome stuff. So let's take this a different direction. Ray, we've had some pretty strong, heady conversations, some pretty serious stuff. Let's go in a different direction. Let's talk. I saw a post that you put up earlier, and it basically just screamed to me that I need to be a better human being. Let's take it in that direction.
I think we all do. It costs $0 to be nice, and it's it just I was kind of sitting there this morning, and it's just for the last couple weeks, it's just you can just feel like the anger around you, and it's everywhere. I mean, you go to the store and you see people arguing with each other in the store, yelling at the cashiers. You go to the gas station, and they're mad that you're at the gas pump they wanted. I mean, it's the most idiotic reasons, and which is always there, but I definitely feel like it's been more of a spike in the last year or so.
And not only can cannabis help, but you're saying that just being better, just being a better human being helps everybody. And I like what you said. It's free. Now, you can't say that being kind is free on Facebook, or they'll think your kindness is cannabis. You get kicked off, you got to go to Am Connect. But I agree with you 100%. So are you practicing that even? Now, the anger is not coming anywhere from, because you're in Kansas City, the anger is not coming anywhere from the football conversation up there.
No, we're good. We're good there.
all good. So, little sage advice from Ray. She says you ought to be a little kinder and you ought to help people a little more. And she said, I got to the gas pump first.
That's her.
I literally actually pulled in the Quick Trip yesterday. That's why it reminded me. And I usually I'll pull all the way up to the second pump, or like the one that's in the front, and it took me like 3 minutes just to get in there. So by the time I did, I just stopped at the first one, and this lady went around me and was cussing me out because I didn't pull forward. Okay. So I think we can all just, if we could all just step back a little bit and, reassess our emotions and realize that everybody has something going on and no one's better than anybody else. And we just have to be a little nicer to each other once in a while.
And we're all just a little bit broken, right? Every one of us, or we wouldn't be human beings. So now my second question, and probably the more important one. It was a beautiful post. What strain were you on?
Which what?
What strain were you smoking when you made that post?
I was totally sober. I was at work.
Oh.
That's sober, Ray.
She's sober, meditating on mean people. That's the type of meditation we like to hear about.
So what strain did you smoke during the Chiefs game?
Oh my God. What did I? I don't remember. That was like 3 days ago.
Oh, sorry if we fast forward.
It was really good.
Awesome stuff. So, you guys, this has been such a wild conversation. We got to talk to Justin and those guys from Puerto Rico, or from Costa Rica, about what they've got going on legalization-wise down there, which I kind of hope that when they go forward with those laws and all that they kind of don't fall into some of the same traps that the United States has fallen into when it comes to like Chris was talking about expungement, and Brendan was talking about expungement, and how important it is to define these things a little better, and to define them in a way that this cannabis plant shouldn't have to face that kind of language and prohibition. So we've also had Murph on from Vivid and Blue Sage Cannabis family, some of our favorite sponsors. I'll tell you, every time one of your team members come down, we get a treat, man. You guys chock full of knowledge and education and customer service, and what a good deal, man.
I'm the best one, though, right?
Yeah, you're in the top. You're in the top 5 that have showed up so far.
I appreciate that,
dude. Your duds are awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. You guys have been great, man. I feel very welcome at home here. It's been really nice.
Yeah, it's a true story that when you put a bunch of stoners in a room and they know a little bit about pot, that you can have a great conversation.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you caught all the conversations today, Ray, but there were some pretty wild ones out there.
Always.
Yeah.
Hey, I would real quick, Chris, is he still on here?
I'm still on here.
I just wanted to say congratulations and great job, by the way, to you guys.
Well, thank you so much. It was it definitely feels like a huge accomplishment every time we get somebody out, but it just makes you want to just do it that much more. So we got more work to do, and we're on to the next.
Very cool.
That's right, because you're good humans.
That's right. That's right. And so, Chris, I'd love to have Zach call into the show, too. I know he's going to be real busy getting himself squared away and settling down and all that. But if we could get him on the show, I'd love to hear his story, at least some of it.
Yeah, I'm sure I can probably set that up for next week. Yesterday, obviously, he was very busy. We got to chat with him for just a few minutes, but then he had to rush to Springfield to check into his halfway house because he's on federal paper. He still has a bunch of hoops to jump through for the next decade or so, and so we're going to do everything we can to make it as easy as possible for him, and we look forward to the community support all along the way.
Awesome stuff, guys. Make sure you guys go out and follow Canna Convict Project, and let's get some help in there. And let's 3 cheers for Zach, guys. Let's give a hand in the studio for what Canna Convict Project did for everybody out there. All right, you guys are listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour on K-Kid. Another beautiful show. I will catch you guys next week, Wednesday, 3 to 5.